from the pride of Santa Ana, California. All right. But somehow fell in love with Minnesota, played in MLS, and is now in the Scottish Premier League with Aberdeen. The kit I'm wearing, obviously this one's a little bit older and a little bit bigger, which is why I'm wearing it. Ladies and gentlemen, we got to ask this guy a couple questions. Can't wait to have him on the show. The one, the only. Put your hands together if you're not driving for Christian Ramirez, everybody.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely honored to have you on the show. Yes, you are currently in Aberdeen, in Scotland. Look, let's be real. There aren't too many Latinos out there, okay?
No, this is when his family left Colombia. This is the dream they had, is that their child would end up in Aberdeen, Scotland.
Stick out here.
Look, one thing that the first impression I've seen as when your time there, people already love you, man. You obviously you went in, you started doing work, and fans they created songs for you. It seems like the Aberdeen supporters are really welcoming you. So what's been that first experience like out in Scotland?
It's been cool. It took me a little bit to get used to how they speak up here because it's a whole new language. Right. So you got to sort of be rude and tell people to. It's actually not. By the slow way, down.
It is English, but you couldn't tell by listening to it.
You got to tell them to slow down and repeat themselves. So that was the difficult part, but I'm getting better at it. And just getting accustomed to this little city. I think it's the third biggest city in Scotland, but it's a bubble in itself. Everybody seems to recognize you wherever you go, even with a mask on. So I think I just stick out for being one of the few Latinos out here. So it's been pretty cool.
Are you, because this happens to us when we go to Europe, like in America, I'm Cuban, Christian's Dominican. But once we leave the United States of America, we're American. Do they recognize you as Latino? Like, are they dancing cumbia when you walk into the stadium? What's happening?
No, they're singing USA when during the game. Yeah. Like if people listen closely, there'll be times in the game where they're just chanting USA, and there's a USA flag that the supporters carry now. So that's been pretty cool.
That's wild.
It's been an awesome, just some of the highlights that we've seen. Obviously, we get to see some of the games out here, but seeing that love, like I said, the fans are creating a chance for you and things like that. As far as just getting acclimated with the game itself, is the Scottish game wildly different from MLS, from NASL, from your time in the US? What is the kind of the thing you noticed that you noticed instantly?
This is it for them. It's life or death, essentially. You see fans and supporters who have come their whole lives, got 80, 90-year-old men and women who walk up to the stadium to watch their team, support their city. And then you got little kids who are yelling, and you've seen videos of kids all over the world singing chants and leading chants. That's what it is. It's essentially life or death every weekend. And I think that's been the biggest adjustment, is recognizing like that if you lose, it ruins a lot of people's weekends until the next game. And then when you're winning, things are good, but when you're losing or you're not performing and you're getting draws, the expectations are a little bit higher.
Right. I'm an Arsenal fan, so I feel you on that last one.
I'm sorry.
I've had a rough start.
A lot of zeros out there.
There's not enough apologies in the world, Christian. Let me ask you this, because you are a Southern California boy, and we asked Miguel Ibarra when we interviewed him what it was like being in Minnesota. I think the difference is much bigger for you. What was it like making the decision? Did they reach out to you with interest, and then you Googled it and you were like, are we sure this is where there's not an Aberdeen in Southern California? We're sure this is the Scottish Premier League. Like, what was that decision like, and how big of a change culturally is it? Because we've talked a little bit about it, but like, what did your parents have to think about you going out to Scotland?
Well, my mom was like, when do I get on a flight with my wife and kids? My mom's been here for 6 weeks. She actually flies back tonight.
That's amazing.
But, Yeah, no, it's been a culture experience, and I think that was something that I've been chasing my whole life, was to be able to play abroad. I've had different opportunities in Mexico that fell through, and this opportunity I felt like was one of the few ones that I couldn't pass up. So I pushed it as much as I could with the Dynamo to help me do this, since I only had about 4 or 5 months left on my deal with them. And it's about just experiencing this lifestyle, memories that my daughters and my wife and I will have. I mean, we just had a whole week off for international break, so we hopped on a plane and went to London and explored London. I mean, just knocking out different countries while we're out here, whenever we get time to, and that's part of the whole experience of why I wanted to do this.
Yeah,
isn't it crazy how cheap it is to fly in Europe?
Oh, yeah. I can't get my mind across it. Yeah.
It sounds like at first I thought they were going to throw me in with the luggage. I'm like, $100? Are you sure?
Yeah, no. Flights from here to Spain are £25.
Whoa.
Like, it's insane. Yeah.
Dude, there's meals.
Yeah.
Meals that are more expensive. This is crazy.
Practically a PJ, whether you let other people on. I know it says Ryanair on the outside.
I love the fact that you told your mom you were going to Scotland, and she was just like, "Tú no vas a ir solo, okay?
Yeah.
¿Quién va a cocinar por ti?"
¿Cuándo me mandas el avión?
Yeah, that's essentially what it was. She just got. I kid you not. She just made me. She just made me tortillas right now. And my mom's Colombian, but there's no Hispanic food here besides the one little grocery store section. So she left me.
What do they sell in that section? Is it just rice and beans? Is that it?
They sell like these like pre-made El Paso like fajita mix, like make your own fajitas. So it's like tortillas and a seasoning. Yeah.
Oh man.
There's a one Venezuelan restaurant, and who's actually owned by a Venezuelan guy. So
that was going to be my next question. Is it just like a guy named like Reardon? You know?
No, I actually met him. So he's a good dude. But there's a random couple Mexican food places, but that's about it.
My mom is it's kind of wild how protective she can be. Like, do you guys remember the meteor that hit Russia? It was like a few months ago, right? So I didn't know about the meteor. The way I found out was because my mother called me and she said, "Honey, before you go outside tonight, just be careful." I was like, "Mom, why?" So because it's a meteor that might hit the Earth. And I think it's pretty adorable that my mother tells me there's a meteor about to destroy the planet with the same urgency she tells me to wear a sweater. It's pretty cute. It gets worse though. My mother calls me every day. She did this today. She called me every day to see if I've eaten something. See if I've eaten something. And I get so annoyed, you know, I have to like yell at her. I'm like, "Mom, I am an adult. I have my own apartment. I pay my own bills." Of course I haven't eaten. I'm starving. Please. Oh my God, please feed me. I don't know how to take care of myself. I need so much help.
I want to know about this because obviously we've spoken to a couple either Scottish players or former Scottish players, but haggis is a very popular thing in Scotland. We have to.
It's a rite of passage.
Yeah, have you had it?
No. No.
Will you?
I've been told to stay away. I've been told to stay away from it.
First of all, consider those people good friends. They care about you, Christian. But is there a reason why? Do you know what haggis is?
If it's what I'm thinking it is, then yeah.
It's a stomach. They use the stomach and then they fill it with sheep's like liver and,
Yeah,
and
no.
lungs and stuff. I gotta say, you gotta try it once. It's a shame if you don't at least try it. No one's telling you to eat the whole thing, because if you did, I'd send your mother there to get you and come back. That's wrong. It's the size
maybe
of a
during the
soccer
off
ball.
season. I don't know.
Yo, our producer said throw some hot sauce in there. You might have to spill the bottle on there.
Yeah.
But you gotta
put
try
that
it
fajita
once.
mix.
Hey, somebody sent me a huge bottle of Tapatio. So
Good.
my wife and I are surviving.
Here's another food item that I know of, Scotland, that very popular. We've mentioned on the show before. It's something called Pizza Crunch. Have you heard of it? Or
No.
Pizza Crisp. It might be crisper.
I'm
They basically deep fry.
I'm gonna put it in my notes.
Go.
Yeah, they deep fry a slice of pizza.
Which is
He's like deleting it from
I
his
love the
notes
reaction.
now.
It is, yeah. It's,
Yeah,
it's revolutionary,
I'll look it up.
apparently.
It is Pizza Crunch. Pizza Crunch. Yeah. All right, so you
Crunch,
haven't
all right.
had it yet. This is probably why you're running so well and scoring. This is why you're playing so well for
Yeah.
Aberdeen. You haven't weighed yourself down by Haggis or Pizza Crunch. You also just scored an amazing equalizer. I also saw you've scored an incredible header. You had that sliding goal against Ross County. Talk a little bit about that sort of being who you are. I mean, we've known you from your time in MLS and your time in USL and NASL. Dude, you're a bucket. You score goals. That's what you do. You know what I mean? And taking that, now doing that in Aberdeen, how does that feel, being able to score those goals in the Scottish Premier League, knowing I even got it out here? And what do you think it happened from here?
No, it's something that I was searching for, to have a manager like Stephen Glass who just tells me day in, day out, just be yourself. I don't want you to feel like you need to be somebody that you're not. And I think that's something that I needed, because this last year and a half was the toughest year and a half of my career, to be honest. And so I just came, and I'm being myself, enjoying myself, playing with a smile. And I've had plenty of conversations with him and with Alan Russell as well, that they tell me, look, even when you're not having your best game, we feel like anything can happen and you're going to end up getting a goal. And that's what happened several times, especially against Ross County. I think not any other, but a couple of previous managers that I've had would have pulled me, because it was my fourth game in 2 weeks. I felt tired, but then somehow I ended up sliding into the net to tie the game in the 90th minute. So it just shows the confidence that they have in me, and I'm glad I can be repaying them with goals, and hopefully that continues.
Yeah, that part of it is it's great seeing, because we, especially in MLS, you know, when a team signs a designated player coming from overseas, he's from Argentina, coming from whatever, and then like fans and the teammates are like, yo, we're excited about this dude coming through. But it's nice to see it with an American player going to play overseas. And now you're the dude that everybody's like, yes, thank you for the reinforcements. I've seen some of the headlines that like, Christian Ramirez here to save the day. And I'm like, oh, this is dope.
They say secret transfer window weapon. You know, it's pretty dope.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No. So it's like a new window that they opened up, where they're like, oh, now we got a new market in the States that we can pick from, type of thing. So it's been cool, especially because Chris Mueller from Orlando City's coming in January to the Scottish Premier League. So if more guys need advice or interested, I know I personally have told my manager here that I'll help talk to whoever he's trying to get over. And I've had a former strength coach who knows Chris Mueller, and Chris Mueller's going to reach out to talk about the league. So I'm open to anyone and anything who wants to know more about this league, as I'm still learning about it, but I'm loving it so far.
That's dope. You talked a little bit about how frustrating the last year and a half was. What made it so frustrating? I mean, for those of us that are fans it's because I think it's hard for us to place ourselves in the position of a player. All you end up seeing is whether they got results or not. And then it's like the player is damned if they do, damned if they don't, right? So like no one knows exactly what's going on in the background. What makes it so tough for a player, and why is that such a relief that you get to sort of be yourself now?
Because essentially I didn't play. I would only play if, at the time last year was Manotas when he was hurt, and he was hurt for 6 weeks. And I played for those 6 weeks, and the team went undefeated in those 6 weeks, and I scored 2 goals and an assist in those 6 games, and then didn't play the rest of the year. And then this year I was only going to play if Maxi got hurt. And I played 1 game and I scored a goal, and the rest of the time I would come on in the 90th minute for a minute or two. And so it was essentially just like, I think the stat was this last year and a half, I had 8 goals in 31 games, but I want to know how many of those I started and how many of those I played more than 4 minutes. So it was frustrating to see people talk about that I wasn't good enough to break in the Dynamo, and then come here and I'm scoring goals, and that's something that's a bit bitter in my mind, that I'm sort of using it a little bit as motivation to at some point hopefully get a chance to redeem myself in that aspect. But that was the tough part. It was, I couldn't do anything to get on the field, and but hey, it happens for a reason, and I'm here in Scotland, enjoying myself with my family and making the most of it.
Yeah, worked out.
Yeah, it's look, it is a, we've spoken to enough players to know like that the personal side of the game, and then the business side of the game, and then what happens on the field, what happens off the field. Like, it's all it can all be very complex. But I mean, the one thing that has been consistent throughout your career is that pretty much everywhere you go, people love you. Get to our Gully Squad questions. Gully Squad is our supporters group. That is the Cooligans fan base, and they are huge fans of you. So it's hard to decide where to begin, but you had mentioned your look. I'll ask this, and this one's pretty salty, but it's pretty funny. But it is a Minnesota United supporter, and it simply asks, Nixon just asked the question. He says, "Why does Adrian Heath hate fun and goal scoring?" That's you don't have to answer that. But the laugh, the look that just came over Christian Ramirez's face is, "Nah, Adrian Heath got my number. Don't do this to me."
No, he doesn't hate fun. I think he gets a bad rep at times. Nothing but love for him. I know that people put it aside that like I got shipped out because of him and stuff like that. And I mean, essentially it's part of the MLS and how the salary cap and stuff works. Same thing in LA, you could say. But I Adrian's got my number. Dr. Bill's got my number. If I have my way, at some point there'll be a homecoming, and I can finally play at Allianz.
Okay, that's right.
Okay, man. That was actually one of the questions. Nick
because I haven't played there.
Yeah, I know. There. Nick Gunlock actually asked, what would playing a match at Allianz Field have meant to you, or what will it mean to you when you do make that homecoming, as you just mentioned?
There's a conspiracy going around that I can't play at that field unless I'm in a Minnesota United jersey. So that's part of the reason. Last year, the night before the game, I had a false positive test with Houston, and I didn't even get to go the next day. It's just anything that's happened has stopped it from happening. So it can only mean one thing.
That's crazy.
Next question. This was from Kyle Carr. He had asked a question. What goal was your toughest to score? The 2014 bicycle kick against Indy 11 or 2016 volley against the Railhawks? I mean, and I remember seeing that the bicycle. I mean, that was nuts. That was an incredible goal.
He didn't clarify which one of the volleys against the Railhawks.
Oh, he did not.
No, because there's two.
That's what a striker does right there.
There's two.
A striker remembers every damn goal. You guys remember your goals from like high school. How do you do this?
They're all the same memory. If it's the Railhawks one that I opened the season with at Carolina, then I think that one was tougher, just because of how far it was from.
But then over a bicycle kick, the bicycle kick has to be tougher, no?
Yeah, but when you catch a bicycle clean, I mean, it just feels.
I can't.
I don't know.
Yo, Christian, I can't catch a real bicycle. All right.
They'll pull up that volley, and you'll be like, okay, I think it was a
I
little
fell
bit
off
tougher.
my scooter, never mind a bicycle. and this guy's just out here scoring bikes, talking about like it's nothing. You actually mentioned, this isn't one of the Gully Squad questions, but you've played in the lower leagues, you've played in MLS, now you're overseas. You played for the men's national team, and I'm sure getting that call up from Dave Sarakin was a huge deal. How hard are you trying to get back on the men's national team squad? And you think you got a chance?
I'm doing what I can, just like any other American that's been called up or on the list. I was on the prelim list for 2 years before Dave called me into January camp, and then I stayed that whole year being on a prelim list the whole year until Greg finally called me up and gave me my 2 caps. So I know what I would. I've said this jokingly, and I mean it's not really a joke because they had such great careers, and one still continues to have a great career even with his time with the national team. But guys like Wando and Alan Gordon, who would be called up to the national team when needed, even if it was just for 20 minutes late in the game, and they would run their tails off and score goals late in games, and which was essentially what I did in my first 2 caps. Was I came on in the last 20 minutes of the game, and I scored, and then I flicked the ball onto Seba, who played Paul in for a goal against Costa Rica. So if Greg needs me, I'll be here, and I'm just controlling what I can, which is playing well, scoring goals, and if my time comes again, I'll be more than happy to put those colors on again.
Oh, and last question, just about have you been watching the World Cup qualifiers while you're there? I know the time difference is a little tough, but any thoughts on just on 2 draws in these last 2 games?
Yeah, it's been tough. It's a young group who has so much potential and coming off of such a huge summer, so the expectations are high, and everybody. It's so weird because like so many people want to see the U.S. fail, even like Americans. It's such a weird dynamic. But I think we'll turn it around. And Greg is a great guy, and he's got the guys that'll follow him and put them in the right position. And hopefully they get a good result in Honduras tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, we're hoping. All right.
Well, if they need a goal scorer, I know of one hanging out in Aberdeen, avoiding Haggis. You know,
and the flights are pretty affordable. So we can make
from what I hear, I mean, it might be cheap to get them out. You know.
This is Mo Adu, and I'm humbled and honored that I finally got to kick it with my boys, the Cooligans. Check it out.
Christian Ramirez, thank you so much for joining us, man. For real, it's an absolute honor. I know you're out in Scotland. I know it's a little bit late there, so we really appreciate the time. Is there anything you want to let people know about before we let you go?
No, just follow me on my Instagram and Twitter. I don't really have anything else going on, but follow this crazy journey that I'm on. I know I'm pretty active in sharing what I'm doing with the family, and as well as travel here with the team. So hit me up.
Christian, now we got a couple of pieces of business before we let you go. We're getting to our Golazo gift. This is your opportunity to celebrate a goal that we will turn into a gift that will live on the internet forever. Alexis will give you a scenario, and you can celebrate it however you like. So, Alexis, what do you suggest?
So, for some reason, it's the 90th minute of a match. It's a free kick. You're pushing up against the defenders because you know that ball's going to be spun right to your head, and you're thinking, man, I got to score this goal because someone told me if I score this goal and we win, they will open an In-N-Out in Aberdeen.
Wow, a lot of pressure, big goal. If you can score this one, how do you celebrate this, Christian?
You got to do it.
How do you celebrate
you score, and an in and out.
What's the animal style celebration?
They cut the big ribbon right in front of you. How do you celebrate this, Christian Ramirez?
Oh my God. I just have to start praying.
What'd you do? You do open hands? You go close?
Please. You have to do everything at that point if you want an in and out in Aberdeen.
Yeah. They won't even open one in New York, but you're gonna get one in Aberdeen.
Yeah.
Amazing. Christian, thank you so much for joining us, man. Again, like I said before, an absolute honor. Best of luck and continued success out in Scotland and wherever it leads. So thank you so much for joining us. Make sure follow at Fubo Sports on all social channels. Follow at Soccer Cooligans and subscribe to the Fubo Sports YouTube channel for full episodes and more clips of the program. All right, Christian, let's end the show the way we normally do. With that said, for Christian Ramirez, my name is Christian Polanco.
And I'm Christian Guerreros.
Together, what are we? The Cooligans!
I didn't want to be left out.